Welcome to the Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
Welcome to the show. We'd also like to welcome back comedian Elvira Kurt, who's back with us. What? That was obviously all for you, Elvira.
Thank you. Meow, meow, meow.
All right, the question we're kicking off the show with is, do you think you can be kind of single? No! Well, turns out that's exactly how Sofia Vergara described her relationship status to Us Weekly. Now, despite going public with her, I guess, we don't know, what is he, Dr. Justin Solomon? This was, about a year ago. We saw this picture, but now she's saying she's kind of single. What does that mean? What does being single mean? What is your definition of single?
Well, I think it's evolved and changed. I remember when I was in my 20s and I was dating, as soon as I had been with somebody for a couple of months, if we were sleeping together, I immediately thought, like, we're not single anymore. Neither one ever single. We never really
without a conversation? Wait, without a confirmation and a conversation?
No one taught us how to do anything, so I just assumed, which led to a lot of heartbreak, where I would be very confused and I would feel like I was getting cheated on.
Right.
So fast forward to the relationship I'm in currently, like, I have learned a lot over the years, and now I know that these things require conversations, right? Yeah. And I think you can be also... You can be technically married and single. We know that that's a truth. People who are going through divorces, who are still married, or, and still technically. And you can also be not married, not legally married, and also committed, or fairly committed, which is my situation. Right? So I think there's nuance.
Do the lesbians have this problem, Elvira?
Oh, the lesbians. Thing about the lesbian and gay community at large is that we've always seen ourselves as rebels. Like, we are not bound by your rules, straight people. And yet the truth is we're just like everyone else. We're predictably boring. And lesbians in particular, we're like shark's teeth. You lose one, the other one pops up. So it's hard to know. I agree with Cynthia. It comes down to communication. I mean, and you're right. In your 20s or back at that time, it wasn't emphasized. So this conversation you're talking about,
I'm so confused. I had the opposite. From the time I started dating, which would be like junior high, it was always defined either with a note like, are you my girlfriend, yes or no? Are we going steady? You're wearing my letter jacket. It was always defined. So this, I don't understand what people don't understand about this. When I hear she's kind of single, what I hear is, I got a couple people in my DMs. I don't have to be alone on Friday night. I could go out, but I'm not committed to anybody. There's no one out there that is confused that I am their girlfriend. So if I meet somebody else on Thursday, it's cool, because that other person knows that we're not in a committed relationship. But I think the reason why everybody feels so strongly about this is that it taps a nerve where people who are in situationships where you're afraid to ask, what is this? Because you're afraid either they'll say, well, this is nothing, I'm not that interested, or you're afraid the person's gonna reject you and be like, did you not hear me when I said I'm not looking for anything serious? And I also think that society is so, as much as we like to be fluid, we still like to put people in a box. And that's why the kinda is bothering people. If she said I'm single, everybody be like, oh, she's single. But it's the kinda. People like to know if you're married, divorced, single. Let the woman live. She's been through enough. Do you know her relationship status in the past couple of years? She's been through the ringer. But I get it.
I get it too, but I think it's the kinda, because kinda single means are we on a break and I can sleep with other people?
Yes.
Or are we kind of single, we're just trying to feel this out if we're gonna continue with the relationship and I can't sleep with other people? So I think with her, what I think she might be saying is she went public with that doctor and everybody's like, ooh, after Joe Manganiello, this was the first guy.
Right.
And if a celebrity chooses to go public with someone at a really a place where they're going to get papped and everyone's like, ooh, who's she with? She's making a statement that she's with this person.
But here's the deal.
Right?
You actually just tapped on something where it's when you're famous, you don't get that privacy to just go on a date and let it just be a date because the paps are taking a picture, and as soon as you're with somebody, you're in a relationship.
Every time anyone says papped, I think of paps.
Paps
Here.
me too.
Okay, wait.
We need to take this
Every time you're photographed. Okay, let me clarify.
I'm kind of papped right now.
If you're being papped, that's fine. Every time, for Cynthia's sake, every time you are photographed
That's right.
with somebody, they assume there must be a very long-term relationship.
I don't know. For me, when someone says they're in an open relationship, I'm pretty sure they're the only one in the relationship that knows about it.
Oh, no.
Really?
That's not true. That's not been my experience.
But what? I think that it's a lot easier to just kind of do kinda and then not have to commit. I'm not sure.
Because there's always an out.
Yeah,
Well, if anybody's wondering, I'm kind of single. So get in the DMs. Thank you very much. If there's any confusion, I'll answer all your questions. All right, so let's move on. Do you think you can be kind of married with kids? No. Oh, the wives don't like that. A husband is going viral for the letter he wrote to his wife saying he would not be a husband or father during the Knicks and Celtics game from 7 p.m. until it ends later that evening. Oh, the ladies do not like that. Okay, so it's prepared to block off solo time from your relationship obligations.
All right, here we go.
All right.
This is where I get to vent on behalf of wives and mothers everywhere. When is the last time that you saw a relaxed woman deciding to opt out of her mothering and wifing duties, household duties, to just sit on the couch to watch a game and put her feet up? Never. And you know why? And you know why? Because we are unable to rest until everything in the house is done. So now, let me get personal for a second. This happens in my house every Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night, and Saturday night. Because you know what that is? Football, 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 hockey, okay? And I'm amazed when I look at my husband, who is the most amazing husband and father on the planet.
Except for on Sunday, Mondays, and Thursdays.
I'm amazed when I look over at the couch at like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I look there at 7 o'clock and he hasn't moved. And I ask myself, if you want to have a happy marriage and you don't want my resentment to build up, then here's what I'm gonna say. Before men, you do that, you make sure that everything is done in the house, that your wife has nothing on her plate, because I would love to be able to do just that once when we have an award show to watch, the Grammys, the Oscars, and I have to PVR it and pause, because the house needs me. So on behalf of partners and women everywhere, do not do this in front of my face, or I'm gonna be really, really mad.
Wow.
I mean, I first have to ask the question of, like, if you married a sports fan, what did you expect? Like, I chose an artist for this.
I used to go clubbing before I got married, but I kind of slowed it down when I got married and had a kid.
I would expect this. I would expect that super fans of sports will do this. This is why I chose an artist. And having said that, I will say that I think women choose resentment as the first go-to place. And I wonder if women listening who feel the way that Mel does, and I know there are women who, I've been there at moments, could instead turn it around and just be like, oh, I'm excited because I'm tracking all of these days where you are not being attentive, and I'm gonna book things into my calendar.
Right.
My date with my girlfriends, my day at the spa, whatever, so that they are forced then to take over. So instead of resenting them, just like ask for what they have, or just do what they do in a different way so that you get back that time.
Here's the only problem with
win.
that. I think that's very mature. I'm not mature right now, but why I think that doesn't work when you just flip it that way is because for when, dad, let's say, and I'm talking hetero situation, when dad's on the couch and things are not getting done because he's not helping, I am doing everything. But when I'm on the couch because I just want to watch an awards show, everything is just piling up. I don't ever actually get to rest.
Wait. I want to know, how do the lesbians deal with this, Elvira? How do the lesbians deal with this?
I'm not just a lesbian. I'm also a mother. And I know. Although I did not actually physically have the children for two reasons. Number one, ew. Number two, ow. Anyway, now that they're teenagers, I do have this, so I have empathy for what you're saying, but I believe this man has given the world a gift. He has modeled how to take time for yourself, and he typed a letter?
Thank you.
The bar is so low for men. I can't believe this guy actually, rather than sitting on a couch and just snapping at everybody and letting them get the message that way, he laid it out. I say, build yourself a cone of silence, sister. Let's all learn how to do this. I'm gonna declare a MMI Why? Mom missing in action. Mom is missing in action.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the reason why I'm kind of single, because see these types of conversations, this kind of like he sections himself off, and I understand the frustration. I've dated a lot of sports fans, and I took it the way you took it. I was like, oh, perfect. I don't, because I like my alone time. I need that time where I'm just doing my own thing. So I'm like, okay, Sundays and Mondays, this is a day where I don't have to worry. And it's like, as long as you don't want me to watch that game with you, I'm good. And then I go and I fulfill my time, and I figure out what I want to do. And that I kind of take it as a gift, because I think in order for me, the type of person I am in a relationship, I need to have my own thing, and you need to have your own thing. And then when we get together, your belly's full of football. I'm happy because I just did brunch with my girlfriends. I'm a little tipsy on my way back, and everybody's happy.
And you know, and that's great for your situation, which I understand. I just want to know who's going to be washing the floors and the toilets.
Okay, now listen, a heated debate broke out on Reddit when a university student asked if it was wrong to turn off her roommate's 2 alarms after they went off for 20 minutes each and failed to wake her. It resulted in the girl sleeping through her lecture. What do we think about this?
I would sue. I would sue. You're turning off my alarm. Suppose I have a huge interview or an important class or something that's worth 50% of my mark or a flight ticket. Listen, these are the growing pains that come with having a roommate. If you don't like it, have a compromise and talk about it, or get your own place. You cannot turn off somebody else's alarm. You don't know what's.
I'm on the other side. I'm like this girl who will not wake up. She had not 1 alarm. She had 2 alarms.
Because she knows she can't wake up.
Well, then, but that's the thing. Part of adulting and part of living, right? 20 minutes. Part of adulting and part of living is that no longer are you under the care of your parents. But guess what? I ain't your mama. So
but she has the alarm clocks because she knows herself.
But it didn't work. And now not only is it inconveniencing her, you're inconveniencing my sleep. Yeah. Don't mess with my sleep.
Yeah. Wait, not just that. This roommate is holding the entire household hostage with her
But isn't that the whole thing with having a roommate? It's not perfect. They're going to eat your food. They're going to leave their alarm clock on. You're going to find a naked man in the living room when you wake up. So those are the type of things that happen.
Let me tell you what the lesbians do. I actually have roommates. They're called teenage children. Okay. And with my son, he's a heavy sleeper. And this goes on every single day. The alarm, and I let it go. I let it go because I was a teenager. I'm a patient
He needs
roommate.
his sleep.
Sure, all the things. But then, to your point, it crosses the line. And then suddenly I'm aware of it. Like looking at the clock, he's going to be late, then he's going to be grumpy, and it's going to start a whole thing, and blah, blah, blah.
But do you turn it off?
Interferes. I get up there and I shift into mom mode, which is different than roommate mode. But we're talking about his inability to take care of the situation by himself. It has now affected my quality of life. Find a way to wake your ass up without bugging mine.
Yeah.
I lived several different places with bunches of roommates, and one of the times was with 4 different women, and we all had different schedules at that time. We were all university students. We were all taking it very seriously. We all had deep sleeps. There were a lot of uncomfortable situations that come up with that. People having sex too loud, people having like parties. And the thing is that you had opposite shifts a lot of time, especially during the summer. I was somebody who worked in as a waitress, so I worked very late nights until 2 a.m. We had people who worked earlier. So whose convenience? That's the question. Is it like, if it was a time when I am sleeping in because I need to after recovering from doing a 2 a.m. shift, and this person can't wake themselves up, so you're disrupting my life now. Here's what I would do.
I'm not saying it's a nice thing, but I'm like, you can't turn it off.
Here's the compromise.
Without waking them up.
Well, that's the thing. I would I'll give you once. I'll walk into your room and I will give you a shove.
Okay.
And, you know, and maybe it's a loving shove. Maybe it's a hey, wake up, a little bit of a thing.
You wake them up.
But that is it. You get
You're
one
not
time.
gonna have a conversation with them about what they're doing to the household.
Pail of water.
Pail of water.
Pail of water on the bed?
I like it. Once.
Okay, we're moving on to this. Andrea Garfield, actor and self-proclaimed chip fanatic, he believes ketchup chips are the worst. So during unpopular position.
Exactly.
During an interview with Infatuation London, Andrew said they're actually, quote, kind of a sin. Hopefully he knows he may no longer be welcome in Canada. So, does anyone here, though, agree with him?
Yeah.
There's someone who does it.
Elvira, how do you feel?
No.
What kind of snacks do the lesbians like?
Let me tell you about, you don't want to know what the lesbians snack on. Chips aren't even on the list.
Okay.
Chips are not on the list. All right, listen.
Understood.
First of all, Mr. Garfield calls them crisps. He claims he's a crisp expert. I'm so sorry, but crisp is an adjective. It is not a noun. It's not what the thing is. He is not qualified. He's an expert. This man is an expert because he eats them. Does he have a Nobel Prize in snackology?
No, he does not.
No. So you know what? Unless you're Canadian, keep my Canadian things out of your mouth.
Three things you cannot touch, okay? If you're not Canadian, don't touch our maple syrup, don't touch our beavers, and don't touch our ketchup chips.
But I'm done.
I thought you were gonna say hockey, but beavers works too. That's fine.
I would have added raisin tarts because we're very divisive about that.
That is true. That is true.
How do you feel about the ketchup chip?
I mean, listen, it's not my favorite. I enjoy it. It's the worst. You hate it.
You don't like it?
Oh, wow.
Wait, so you're criticizing Andrew, but then you also don't like the ketchup?
Because I'm Canadian, I can talk about it.
Okay. You gotta have the passport.
Can I ask you this? Have you tried a buffalo wing chip?
No, and I will.
Oh my God. It tastes like cardboard and stale farts. Like, it is the most disgusting thing. So I think there are worse chip flavors, and yeah, what about you?
I just wonder why we're taking the advice of an actor. Like, Andrew Garfield's a great actor. He was Spider-Man like 10 million times. I don't understand why we care about his opinion. And he's also from England. And by the way, the British people, you can keep your digestive cookies in your Toblerone.
Right?
We're good over here.
Toblerone is Swiss. Is it? It's Swiss.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
I only get it when I'm in London, so I don't know.
Here's the thing. I love ketchup chips, and when I was growing up, my parents never bought junk food. But the first time I ever got a taste, you never forget your first. And the first time I tasted my first ketchup chip, I was so hooked, but my parents would never buy junk. So I would try to bring any high trade value item from home and try to trade for my lunch, and I would trade it so that I could get a plain chip if someone didn't have ketchup chips, but I would bring my own container of ketchup from
You're
home.
dipping?
And yes. This is how obsessed I was with ketchup chips.
Wow.
Because it wasn't around as much back then, but when it was, I was like, must have, must have. So what's the next best thing? Your own ketchup and a plain chip.
For some reason, as a Canadian, I feel like that's blasphemous for you to be dipping over.
It is. It is.
Ketchup.
You know, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah,
you got to do what you got to do.
Sure.
Suggest. All right, so a viewer, you wrote in to us asking for our help with a delicate situation. So someone wrote to us and said, quote, I've been a loyal client to a local salon for years and have been seeing the same stylist the entire time. I'm typically happy with her service, but a few visits ago, due to scheduling, I had to see another stylist who turned out to be much better. Now I want to start booking with her, but I feel like I'm cheating on my old stylist. I have short hair, so I'm in for trims very regularly. Is there a non-awkward way to break up with the hairdresser without switching salons? This is a hard one. What did we say?
Okay, so I just want to clarify when I wrote that. I have struggled with years. I mean, I have short hair. It is a struggle. I empathize for this situation. I endured, when I was younger, decades, like years of terrible haircuts because I couldn't quit my stylist. Do you know what I mean? Like, there were years I walked around looking like I was wearing like a wig that wasn't quite pulled down all the way, you know? People would say, you look so familiar. I'm like, yes, I'm a Vulcan warlord. And yet I went back to this person over and over again because I didn't know how to do it. I still
Are you in a relationship or were you kind of single? Like, that's the question to go back to the person. Because I think this is the error that we make, is that you're not in a relationship with your hairdresser, even though it feels like that. But if we do want to take that analogy, I guess the fear is that people feel like they're cheating, right? That you go and you're going to hurt the person in the same way that you would in a relationship. But the thing is, so you don't go and cheat within plain sight. You don't just literally go to the next stylist. I think if you're going to do that, you have to break up first. And that's the uncomfortable thing. You have to say something. If you respected yourself, just be like, I'm trying. It's not you, it's me.
So you think they deserve a breakup conversation.
I think you have a breakup conversation if you're going to stick in the same salon. Otherwise, you ghost. Right, you go to another salon.
You just go, go to another salon is the only
and you just
solution.
Leave.
You can't.
Not necessarily, but I'm curious, Melissa, how are you handling
this? This actually happened to me. So I was with someone for a very, very long time, probably close to a decade, and she started to get so busy when she opened her own salon, and I followed her. We often follow salons. She opened her own place, and she was so busy, and she's like, listen, I can't get to you. I have a junior stylist. She's really great. She's really young, but she's super talented. Well, guess what? She was better. She was better. And I've been with her for 25 years.
So how did you break up with the first one?
I didn't break up. I literally said, like, listen, I guess I kind of did. I'm like, I can't wait 6 months for the next time to see you. And this girl is not only available, she's great, but I did it right in front of her face. So I did it, but didn't break up. You know, I did.
Well, you guys are all very nice people. I've done this several times, and I don't feel...
You don't feel a way about it.
I don't feel a way about it. You know why? Because it's a business relationship. I'm booking an appointment, and I want my hair to look a certain way. And if there's another stylist, and I'm looking at all their clients come down the stairs, and everybody's looking like the way I want to look, and I'm sitting there and I'm miserable because my stylist isn't getting it, why am I doing that? It makes no sense. And women's hairstyles are very expensive. These are not cheap $40 appointments. So why would I sit there and be uncomfortable?
It's because I think, and I love what you're saying,
they're not getting a breakup conversation from me. Why?
I think the thing is because it's such an...
I'm going to talk to the receptionist and be like, the next time I book, I'm booking with this person.
I think that's why you start. That's ideally, this is a recommendation for everyone. You start non-committal in a salon. I think that's it.
Right,
You tell them that you're kind of single and you hop and skip, and everybody just adjusts it. I know it might be more challenging for the stylist because I'm sure in that work environment it'd be like, oh, I've lost a client to this person. But for the client, I think women, we are always apologizing for wanting stuff for ourselves, and I'm not apologizing. If this is what I want and I'm paying and I'm tipping well, I'm going to that stylist.
I get that. I get that.
We gotta stop apologizing for wanting what we want. Go to the other stylist and get your highlights done properly.
It's true, but I think the only reasonable solution is just you have to pretend that you have amnesia for the rest of your life.
We solve that.
Just be like Mariah Carey. I don't know her.
Well, we hope that helped, viewer. We hope that helped you.
It didn't really. Okay. I still have questions.
Subscribe to The Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.